Good afternoon and welcome back to Travistock. More Hill United Chiefs softball. In fact, because of Mother Nature, we find ourselves right back with the first pitch as the Chiefs coming off a 1-0 loss earlier today over at Optimist Park versus JDT First Energy. It's the first loss of the year for Hill United in 5 games against JDT. So their record in the round robin so far is 1-2, and their opponent, a new opponent. And it's always great to see different teams in a season where the Chiefs have played a lot of the same teams on a regular basis. This is the Nova Scotia East Hants Mastodons. The majority of the players play in their home province in the Shooters Fast Pitch League, and they are 0-3 in the tournament, coming off a 9-0 loss at the hands of the Bear Creek Gremlins, who solidified top spot in the pool with that win. And this has to be quite an afternoon for Justin Schofield, who pitches for this team every single year at the Canadian Championships, and will do so again this year in Saskatoon, and facing Colby Crowell. And Crowell takes Schofield back up the middle for a base hit to start the game for the Mastodons, who for many years now have been very, very competitive at the Canadian Championships. They'll play in the ISC World Tournament at the new park at Bear Creek, just outside of Melbourne, Ontario. So nicely underway. Delighted to have you with us, no matter where you might be looking on from. And the batter is the right fielder, Will Singer. He's from Shorts Lake, Nova Scotia, trying to drop down a bunt on a ball that curves right towards his chest. In league play, Singer 3 for 6. Has not played a lot, but has been effective back in Nova Scotia when he has a couple of doubles, a triple, and a run batted in. So Crowell, the base runner, after a leadoff hit. And a swing and a miss on a rise ball. Justin Schofield from Grand Pré, Nova Scotia, 6-2 on the year. He's pitched 55 and a third innings, given up 19 runs. 3 of those runs came in 3 2/3 innings of work in a 5-2 loss last night at the hands of the Bear Creek Gremlins. Justin has struck out 133 batters in nearly 56 innings of work, and walked only 18. So control is one of his best attributes, amongst many other things. So far, not a lot of rain, but it is a scary day weather-wise in the province of Ontario. A lot of tornado warnings, not necessarily here, but in other areas. And we just hope everybody will be okay and safe. As Singer continues to bat against Schofield. Always interesting in these kind of scenarios where there's a lot of familiarity to know which side has the advantage, pitcher or batters. Right back at Schofield, in time to get out number 1, a tap dance by Khalil Luna, a Chiefs newcomer, the 22-year-old from Argentina. Did a really nice job to receive the ball. So for Hill United, in the outfield, it's Quentin Bruce in left, Bradley Ezekiel is in center, and Nick White, who's also has to have a few extra nerves and butterflies. He's from Truro, Nova Scotia, and like the pitcher, will be part of this team they're facing now at the Canadians. So Singer on in a fielder's choice, and now Brody Fraser, and Fraser hit by that pitch. And it can be very difficult. You know, there's a little extra flowing through against players that you've played with and against for years in the case of Schofield. You don't see them very often on the circuit. But this is one of those rare situations. And it's just an awesome opportunity for the Mastodons, too. So runners at first and second and no one out. And one out on the force for Braden Woodworth, who swings and misses. He's from Milford, Nova Scotia. 9 for 33 in league play with a couple of home runs and 7 runs batted in. As Schofield, it gets past Luciano Biondi and allows the runners to move up 60 feet. So third and second is the Mastodons, who lost 9-1 in their opening game to JDT. A 7-inning 0-0 tie versus the Oswegan Redmen. The 9-0 setback at the hands of the Bear Creek Gremlins, and now a date with the two-time reigning ISC World Champion Hill United Chiefs. Hill United, with a win, would finish at 2-2 and finish in third place in their pool, and would cross over tomorrow against the second place finisher in the other pool. 10 teams here in Travistock this weekend, and a good high rise from Schofield that gets Wordsworth swinging, and there's 2 away. And here is second baseman Cameron Weatherby. He's from Shorts Lake. Had a hit in their opening game versus JDT. And a quality changeup from Schofield. Lights are on a day where the weather has no idea what it wants to do every 3 minutes. But so far, so good here. Up the middle, a base hit. Fraser gets the wave, the throw home. Up the line, and the Mastodons have broken into a 2-0 lead. A 2-run single off the bat of Cam Weatherby. And the Mastodons in front as they strike first in the top of the first inning. The throw from Ezekiel, just a little up the line. Biondi did everything he could to dive across to attempt to record the out. And now Rowan Sears. Rowan added to the Chiefs roster last year for the ISC World Tournament. Always really enjoy my visits with Rowan, who is fairly prominent in the hockey circles as well. Rowan is from Truro, Nova Scotia. He's 7 for 30 in league play. He's homered 3 times and driven in 5. And at Pipolo Lopez down at third to end the inning. The Mastodons with 2 runs, and the Chiefs will come to bat in search of their first run of the day. They failed to score in their game against JDT. You're watching Hill United Chiefs softball from Tavistock. The Hill United Chiefs come to bat, trailing the East Hants Mastodons from Nova Scotia, who with an upset win in this event could earn a playoff spot. So not the way Hill United wanted to start the game, as Nick White from Truro fouls the first pitch back and out of play. The pitcher is number 22, David Watson, who's from Milford. David 4-4 in league play. He's been a workhorse. He's pitched 51 2/3, given up 20 runs, struck out 97, and walked 14. And Nick White has been a very consistent, valuable hitter for the Chiefs again in 2026. The 22-year-old just keeps on getting better. He's 25 for 59 on the season, a double, 4 home runs, and 14 runs batted in. He was 1 for 3 in the loss a couple of hours ago to JDT First Energy. He's 3 for 8 here in Tavistock with a couple of home runs and 3 runs batted in. And takes a low rise over the outside portion of the plate. Watson, just a youngster. And he spins one, but up and out of the zone. Nick homered in the first 2 games this weekend, the 12-0 victory over Oswegan, and then delivered one of the 2 runs against the Gremlins last night with a solo shot off Jack Besgrove, and Nick has a bounding ball. He's on his way with no hesitation to second, as Will Singer and Wright had a difficult time coming up with it. But when you run the way Nick White does, there was never a doubt in his mind off the bat that he was headed towards second. So White with a leadoff double, his second double of the year, as he continues to swing it well in Tavistock. And now the longtime captain, Shane Boland. And Boland drives it, but right at left fielder Brody Fraser. Are actually out there in left. Lineups coming in very late for this game. Fraser is at first. That would be Václav Bure out in left field. He's from Czechia. Bradley Ezekiel, a diving play by Weatherby to knock it down, but Ezekiel will cash in the first run for Hill United as Nick White scores on the ground ball. Excellent work by Weatherby to stretch out to keep it from going into the outfield, but enough for Ezekiel to deliver another base hit and another run batted in. And the batter is Lenny Villavazzo. The 27-year-old from Mexico. 21 for 56 on the year. Throw down from Tyler Williams, the catcher. Roland Sears, the shortstop. Nathan Peters is at third. Cam Weatherby, who just made that nice diving stop. Brody Fraser is at first. And Lenny Villavazzo, you don't need more than one to guess to know that he was unhappy with that decision. Lenny looking for his first hit in Tavistock. He does have a run batted in. And look out, Jeff Ellsworth, the Hall of Fame player about to be inducted this year into the ISC Hall of Fame for his marvelous work as a player, longtime star in the ISC and for Canada's national men's team. And has done a wonderful job coaching Hill United. As Watson had that one, the release point slipped as he digs into the rag known as Gorilla Gold. Gone are the days some pitchers still use, the rosin bag. As Watson continues to work pretty effectively to Lenny Villavazzo. Brad Ezekiel with his 22nd run batted in of the season here in the bottom of the first, and Williams does well to keep that from finding its way to the screen. So Nick White has doubled and scored. And now Villavazzo looking to extend the inning. And he pops this in the air. And out of play. Back in Mexico, had a chat with Lenny today. He is coaching a team in the Mexican Women's Professional League. It's an 8-team league. And says that he's really enjoying that opportunity too. He said lots of travel. So there's plenty of it in his world, be it as a player or as a coach. And I guarantee you it'll be a team that plays with a lot of passion and energy. And Watson with a good rise that moved away from the right-handed hitting Villavazzo, and there are two away. So first strikeout for David. And now Quentin Bruce. Bruce slashes one for a base hit into left. Bure quickly delivers it in to the infield. And Quentin Bruce, who has really been swinging it well the last 2 or 3 events, continues to do so. That's his third hit in Tavistock as Williams and Watson have a conversation. Catcher and pitcher, especially with a runner at second, always want to make sure that they go through their series of signs. And the batter is first baseman Tony Gonzalez. And Gonzalez took a mighty hack at the rise ball. Tony's now 22 of 70 on the season. He's doubled 5 times. He's homered 6 times. And he's cashed in 22 runs. In 2025 for the Chiefs, Tony had over 400 with runners in scoring position. He had 27 runs batted in on the year. 14 of them came with 2 out. So that is the true definition of a clutch hitter. And he's been right in the same neighborhood, maybe not to that extent so far, in 2026. Hits for average, hits with lots of power. And this one, he just gets underneath. Sears will give way. So Hill United with 1 back, but after 1, it's the Nova Scotia East Hants Mastodons leading the Hill United Chiefs 2-1 here in Travistock on the home of Softball Premier TV. Justin Schofield back to work. Looks to really settle in here. Special shout out on this Saturday afternoon to Hill United Chiefs sponsor, Pete Hill, Tim Todas, Cindy Toda, and we're thinking a lot the last few days about Pete Hill's brother Brian, who was involved in a accident a few days ago. And we love you, B, and we are thinking about you. Everybody around the Chiefs organization is, and we're hoping for a speedy recovery. These broadcasts would not be possible without those great people. And Nathan Peters gets around on Schofield. He pulled it towards the Chiefs dugout. So the Mastodons already with 2 runs in the game. Cam Weatherby cashed in both of them with an RBI single. Change up from Peters, who lined it, and reaching up to make the catch is Ezekiel for out number 1. Nathan made pretty good contact. And what I find that can happen with good players, but players who don't play regularly against some of the top teams, is now you start to face them 3 or 4 times in a weekend, and you start to get a feel for what pitching is all about at this level. And Tyler Williams laced one that Pipolo Lopez could not quite haul in, at third, and the Mastodons have another runner. Pippolo will play more at first than he will at third, but he's been there on a couple of occasions. And Schofield trying to find a groove against his buddies. So far, they're not really cooperating. A bunt. Schofield will make the play for the second out. Nicely executed by Václav Bure. And back to the top of the order, and the veteran center fielder is Colby Crowell. And Colby began the game with a base hit up the middle. And he hits this high and deep. And off the glove of Ezekiel. And it's going to be a stand-up triple. And the Mastodons up their lead again to 2 as Crowell gets into this. And it carried a long way. So what a beginning for the East Hants Mastodons as a group, and especially for Colby Crowell. 2 hits, including an RBI triple. And a changeup to right fielder Will Singer, who reached on a fielder's choice and scored the first of 3 East Hants Mastodon runs. So a surprising beginning on this Saturday afternoon. And another changeup that had Singer backing up as he dragged the bat through the zone. Another off speed on the ground to Viavazo. He had to hurry to get the speedy Singer, but executes. Colby Crowell, an RBI triple. And the East Hants Mastodons from Nova Scotia lead Hill United 3-1 as we go to the bottom of the second here in Tavistock. The Chiefs come to bat in the bottom of the second, and they do so trailing 3-1. And shortstop Khalil Luna set to start the half inning at home plate. Time is called, and now He'll face David Watson. Luna has a lot of tools in his toolbox. This is a young man who won't turn 23 until the 11th of October. Fresh off a phenomenal performance at the U23 World Cup earlier this year, where he led all players in runs batted in with 13, homered 6 times, tied for second in batting average. This one high off the bat. Singer is there, so is Crowell, and the center fielder, who's generally the captain of the outfield, takes charge and makes the play. Is Luna underneath the pitch from Watson. And now it's Pipolo Lopez. And he strokes one foul. Tyler Randerson, who lives not too far from the park. He told me today on the way over, probably 10 or 15 minutes from here. So this is a home game for him. And Lopez looks at a Watson low rise that found its way over the outside portion of the plate. Pipolo's 14 for 56 on the season. He's doubled twice, homered 6 times, and cashed in 15 runs. Right now, he would just like to be a base runner for Hill United. Trailing by a pair. Launches this, and Singer makes a splendid diving catch. With a 2-umpire system, it can be difficult to cover everything. Looking forward to seeing the replay as Singer sells out. And looked like he did get his glove underneath. From the ball off the bat, looked like it potentially could have been trapped. But that's very difficult. And even on the replay, no conclusive evidence of otherwise, and really doesn't matter because the call's not going to change regardless. So tip your cap to Will Singer, who makes a splendid play in right field. As Lopez tagged it, and now Luciano Biondi. 2 out for the 23-year-old. Well, he did everything he could do and smartly came up with the glove in a heartbeat to say, I've got it. There goes Biondi, and the Chiefs at the bottom and now top of the order with as much speed as anyone in the ISC, and in games where Alan Pecker is also in the lineup. It's really a trio of speedsters. So Biondi steals second base. And Nick White, who doubled and scored in the first, finds himself back at home plate. And a good block by Tyler Williams as Watson delivered a changeup to Nick White, the Nova Scotian himself from Truro. Fights it off. Came up and in. Right on the hands. And Nick battled his way through it. Two out, bottom of the second. And the pitch misses just outside. A full count to Nick White. And Nick will draw a 2-out walk. So now loads of speed on the base pass. As Watson offers up a couple of free passes. And now the captain, Shane Boland, who's the designated player in this game. And again, as was the case when the Chiefs had a runner at second in the first, they'll chat again, and that will bring the home plate umpire out to deliver the message about the amount of visits. Shane Boland has been battling injury. Weatherby again, a glove shovel. Cam Weatherby is the Mastodons with a couple of quality defensive plays. This the second of two. To end the second, it remains 3-1. You're watching Hill United Chiefs softball here from Travistock. Hill United Chiefs, they are trailing 3-1 as we begin inning number 3. And apologize if there are any audio issues. The batter is first baseman Brody Fraser. And now I think we're back. Change up is sprayed foul by Fraser, whose home is 9 Mile River, Nova Scotia. 7 for 27 this year in league play. Was hit by a pitch and scored in the first. As he fouls that away for a second time. Justin Schofield. Not the start that he was hoping for. But a long way to go, and hit hard, and Villavazo almost in a state of protection to come up with that ball. As Fraser hit it hard. And there's one out in the third. And now the designated player, Braden Wordsworth. Or Woodworth. He's from Milford, Nova Scotia. Braden struck out. His first time up. And Schofield delivers a strike. Woodworth, 9 for 33 back home in league play. He's homered a couple of times and driven in 7. Played at the 2023 ISC World Tournament. Was also a member of a tremendous Nova Scotia team at the Canada Summer Games in Ontario in 2022. They ended up winning the silver medal. Nick White was part of that group. Woodworth and others. David Watson was on that team. So it was a really, really strong age group. And now they've moved up into the senior men's ranks. No balls and 2 strikes to Braden Woodworth. And just able to stay alive. A good young hitter. Well, some confusion, but indeed that ball went off of Woodworth's bat. And you get great video evidence of just that. The Schofield trying to work his way into a groove and has a strikeout. That's his second of the afternoon. And here's one of the stars of the game so far, second baseman Cam Weatherby, who has made a couple of solid plays over at second, and he delivered the first 2 runs of the game with a single in the top half of the first. So Weatherby has had an imprint all over this game to this point. Schofield off speed again. He's gone to that on a number of occasions. And in many ways, I would call Justin Schofield a softball savant. There is nothing that he doesn't think about, process, study. He is all in. Also runs the U9 softball league back home when he is home. Certainly rare on the weekends, especially in 2026. It's a busy summer As Schofield comes inside on Weatherby, and as he looks in, and time is called. Hill United, one of the few teams that use the PitchCom system, which you might be familiar with if you watch Major League Baseball. And a quality rise ball. So back-to-back strikeouts to end the top of the third, a 1-2-3 inning, and now Hill United will go back to batting, trailing by a pair here in Tavistock in their final round robin game. So Hill United, and it's a game they must win in order to earn one of the 3 playoff spots available in their pool. The Mastodons have yet to win a game, but they did tie the Oswegan Redmond. So Hill United in need of a win here if they're to play tomorrow. And Watson hits the mitt with authority. The youngster's throwing pretty hard. And so far, he's kept this vaunted hitting lineup, for the most part, off balance. Brad Ezekiel has the only run batted in so far. Hoping to start a rally here in the bottom of the third. This is not a spot Hill United was expecting to be in as far as the game is concerned. A late break. Ezekiel deep, and it is gone. Bradley Ezekiel takes it out to straightaway, nearly straightaway center. And Ezekiel brings Hill United with this blast to within 1. It's his 7th home run of the season. As the gentleman voted the ISC Player of the Decade starting in the year 2010, just continues to show he's one of the world's best and has been for a long time. He's now 5 for 10 here in Tavistock. And see if Hill United can feed off of that. Lenny Villavazo up and in, but for a strike. Villavazo struck out versus Watson his first time. Villavazo has had a terrific 2026, but he is looking for his first hit of the weekend here in Tavistock. And that is something that I have never uttered in any of the other weekends, starting with the first big one, which was the Bear Creek Classic. And he has just kept up the pace ever since. He was injured, missed one event as a result. Got hurt in Mitchell, Ontario. Rounding first base after a hit. But came back the following event after and hit extremely well. But he'll ground out here to Nathan Peters for the first out of the bottom of the third. As Watson comes in on Viavazo, and Peters routine and effective. Brings Grand Valley, Ontario's Quentin Bruce to the dish. He has a hit today. His third of the weekend and 9 official at-bats. His season really got rolling at the Chiefs Challenge. And he hits this hard, eats up Rowan Sears. And Quentin Bruce finds himself on base for a second time. As this gets to the shortstop in a heartbeat. And now first baseman Tony Gonzalez, as he has an aggressive approach against David Watson. Who has thrown a number of innings here. Former Hill United Chief Martin Gonzalez, who was with Hill United in their title-winning year of 2025, is added to the East Hants roster for this weekend. So the ball was tipped, and Bruce, who was on the move on his way back to first, as Gonzalez did make some contact. Ripped it right back up the middle. Bruce on his way to third. The throw cut off. And the Chiefs now with runners at the corners. And one out as Gonzalez smacked it. Kroll with a strong throw in, but it was smartly cut off. Bruce, just another player in the Hill United Chiefs lineup that runs well. Luna underneath it. Coming a long way is Bure. He'll throw home. And Khalil Luna, with a sacrifice fly, has tied the game at 3 as Quentin Bruce scores from third. Good running catch to get to it. Had to throw on the fly. And Khalil Luna with a good piece of hitting to tie the game at 3. Lopez towards the hole, but Fraser ranges to end the inning. Hill United have drawn even in a 3-3 tie in Travistock on Softball Premier TV. New pitcher for the Hill United Chiefs. It is Tyler Randerson playing a home game. He is a firefighter in Kitchener. I believe it's Station 4 or 5. And no fire to put out right now, but the Chiefs batting lineup helping his causes as he enters in a 3-3 tie as we're set to start the fourth inning. Hill United chipping away with a couple to draw even in the bottom half of the third, including Bradley Ezekle's solo home run. Randerson has pitched 35 2/3 innings in his first full year with Hill United, given up 14 runs. He has 57 strikeouts and has walked 15. Through 2 1/3 in the setback at the hands of the Bear Creek Gremlins last night, gave up 2 runs on 1 hit, struck out 5, and walked 4. And will face shortstop Rowan Sears to begin the fourth inning. As the Mastodons giving the Chiefs all they can handle in this round-robin affair, the final round-robin game of the tournament for Hill United. And his first pitch is a rise ball up and out of the zone. He grounded out to Pipolo Lopez, his first time in the game. Change up. Rowan was part of that 2022 Canada Summer Games group. In Niagara. And then the 2025 edition was staged last year in St. John's, Newfoundland. On the ground to Luna. Strong arm across the diamond for 1 out. Takes it off the side, but backhands well and zip for 1 out. And now third baseman Nathan Peters, who flew out to Brad Ezekle in center. Peters is from Lance, Nova Scotia. He has 1 home run in league play. It came June 30th against the Brookfield Elks. A strike on the outer half from Tyler Randerson. Told me today he has really, really enjoyed his first year. Spent several seasons with the Toronto Batmen. And the 2 words he used about the Hill United Chiefs were first class. That everything is done that way. And I know that he also has nothing but good things to say about the Toronto Batmen. And he'll pitch for them at the Canadians in Saskatoon in the later stages of August. And Randerson with a strikeout, his first of this game, as he replaced Justin Schofield, who went the first 3 innings. Catcher Tyler Williams, the batter. He singled in the second. And drops down a bunt. Was he out of the box? He was out of the box. Which means out number 3 and the end of the inning. In a 3-3 tie in the final round robin game for the Hill United Chiefs here in Travistock, Ontario. Hill United Chiefs in a 3-3 tie against Nova Scotia's East Hants Mastodons. Under the guidance of Chris Hopewell, he and Randy Frame deliver a fine podcast that you can listen to on a weekly basis. They've done a lot of episodes. I think they're well into the 200s now. Always great when I get an opportunity to hear the show, and always loaded with personality and great guests. So thanks for all the work you do to help continue to try to grow this game. And Luciano Biondi just able to get out of the road of the David Watson inside pitch. And Biondi, hope he's okay. He fouled that off the foot. That's the second time on the weekend. Catching last night, he took a foul ball off the top of the foot, and now this looks like more towards the instep. No balls and 2 strikes to the Hill United catcher. As Biondi stays alive, pulls it foul. Luciano Biondi is a tremendous athlete. He has all the tools. Great speed, a terrific throwing arm. Has some versatility. Last year, he even spent some time at the ISC World Tournament in Mankato in the outfield, made a game difference-making type play in a Friday night win over the Northeast Drillers. But in this scenario, he looks at what he thought was outside, but called strike 3. And now Nick White. Nick's doubled, scored, and walked. So he's been on base a couple of times, which is really how a lot of his season has gone. It's been a good one. Won't turn 23 until the 4th of December, and fouls this well out of play. And I say it a lot on these broadcasts. With his speed, Biondi would be the same. Alan Pecker. Anytime Nick puts a ball in play, especially to the left side of the diamond, he has a chance to be safe. There's fast, and then there's players like Nick White. It's just a bit of another gear. And Biondi's not far behind, and nor is Alan Pecker as far as the Chiefs lineup. A lot of speed. Saw earlier in the game that Quentin Bruce runs well. So a lot of tools for Jeff Ellsworth, John Stewart, and John Hill and the coaching staff. Nick's hitting over 400 so far this season. High, but Singer will record the first out as Nick just missed it. Two out after the fly out. And now it's Shane Boland. Shane 0 for 2 in the game. As Watson came in, Shane conversing with our home plate umpire, asking where the pitch was. And Boland does well to stay off the rise. It looked like he wanted to pull the trigger, but recognizing you don't have a lot of time in this sport to recognize much of anything when the ball's coming in at you at that velocity from 46 feet. In a 3-3 tie with playoff implications on the line in this one. Change up. And the count runs full on Shane Boland. He's in search of his first hit this weekend here in Tavistock. And he'll find himself at first. A 2-out walk. And a visit. Everybody gathered in the infield. And I would guess the message would be something like this. We are playing well against the two-time reigning ISC World Champion Chiefs. So let's hang in here. Make the plays we can make. And continue to give Hill United all they can handle. And Brad Ezekiel had a mighty cut on the drop ball from David Watson, and it was a good one. Ezekiel 2 for 2 in the game with a home run and 2 runs batted in. It's a really good location to call a game from. One of my favorites, actually, on the circuit. up enough to have good depth and still close enough to really get a feel. One of 3 parks being used this weekend. Ezekiel, is it his second of the day? Yes, it is. A monster shot into the parking lot from Brad Ezekiel, whose young son is on the trip and Dad's putting on a show. Got the Homer hat on again. That was a complete and utter no-doubter. Went to the drive-thru, ordered takeout, and asked if he could get it to go. It went a long way. And the Chiefs lead for the first time in the game. It's 5-3 as Ezekiel now 3 for 3, 2 home runs, and 4 runs batted in. It's one of his most productive games of 2026. And Brad now on the weekend is 6 for 11. Villavazo fouls away a good high rise from David Watson. Nice drop. Despite giving up the 5 runs, I've liked what I've witnessed from right-hander David Watson. But he gave Brad Ezekiel one in a quality spot. And when you do that against one of the best that's maybe ever played, you can get hurt. It's been the Bradley Ezekiel Show as Hill United leads for the first time. It's 5-3 after 4 on Softball Premier TV. Hill United on Bradley Ezekiel's second home run of the game, a two-run blast to left center, has provided the Chiefs with a 5-3 advantage. Former Hill United Chief Martin Gonzalez is up and throwing in the bullpen for the Mastodons. Václav Bure, the batter. he grounded back to starting pitcher Justin Schofield in the second. Bure has spent some time in the Czechia U23 program. Did not participate at the recently played U23 World Cup earlier this year. Change up from Randerson. That's a pitch he continues to use very effectively. Bure fouls that out of play. Hill United in need of a win to earn a playoff spot. 3 teams in each pool of 5 find their way into the playoffs. The top finishing team in each pool advance directly to the semifinals as Randerson induces a ground out to third baseman Pipolo Lopez to begin the 5th. The Bear Creek Gremlins with a perfect record so far here in Tavistock, I believe, have clinched top spot in Division A. They will have one more game to play against the Oswegan Redmen. That'll be played at nearby Optimus Park, slated for 5. They're a perfect 3-0. And the only other team in the pool that could wind up with 3 wins is JDT First Energy, and the Gremlins down JDT 2-0 last night. And head-to-head, as it is in this event, a tiebreaker up very high on the list. Hill United with work to do. They have played in the championship final of the last 3 events they've played in. It almost looked like the wind caused an issue. We are nicely guarded up here, but it is swirling around out there. And Randerson paints a corner to get Colby Crowell, and that has not been easy. The center fielder's had a great day with a base hit and a triple and a run batted in, but goes down looking in the 5th as Randerson has his second strikeout in relief of Justin Schofield. And 2 out for the right fielder, Will Singer, who reached on a fielder's choice and scored and grounded out to Lenny Viavazzo at second. And there has not been any lack of high-end enthusiasm for the Mastodons, and that's fantastic. You love the spirit. They knew that they would enter this type of competition, and it would not be easy. They participated in a tournament in Kitchener a couple of weekends ago. They were not in the main division of 5 with the Chiefs and the Gremlins and the Bear Creek Express, but they ended up in the next division and lost the final to the Oswegan Redmen 6-2 in a game that was tied going into the 7th. And this will really pave the way nicely for them at the ISC and then at the Canadians in late August in Saskatoon. And looking forward to having a chance to call that event on Softball Premier TV. Always great to be back in my hometown, and the facilities in Saskatoon as good as you can find. Randerson, again, pinpoint on the corner. And the count runs full on right fielder Will Singer, who made a superb diving catch earlier in the game. A high rise, swung on and missed. Randerson, a 1-2-3 fifth. Hill United now in front by a couple. It has been anything but easy against Nova Scotia's East Hants Mastodons on the home of Hill United Chief Softball Premier TV. Hill United, who trailed 2-0 and 3-1 in the game at one point, now lead by a pair themselves as Quentin Bruce fouls off the David Watson pitch. The story of the game has been Brad Ezekiel, the 39-year-old, 3 for 3 in the game, 2 home runs, and 4 runs batted in. And the wind is creating havoc with our center field camera. This is hard hit. Weatherby comes up nicely with the hands. And there's one away. It's been a really good day at second for Cam Weatherby. Tony Gonzalez has a hit in the game. Tony is just a very consistent hitter. If you need power, he can hit for average. He's very reliable. There are not very many bad games. There's not a lot of tough weekends. Just a flat-out good hitter. Change up and a beauty from Watson. Really pulled the string. And Tony is and has been a somewhat regular on the all-world list at ISC World Tournaments. The 2-2. On cue, another hit from Tony Gonzalez, his second of the game. That's what he does. And now 22-year-old Argentine shortstop in this game, Khalil Luna. Khalil has one hit so far in Travistock. It came in Hill United's 12-0 victory in their opening game of a doubleheader last night. This is well tagged, and it is gone. Khalil Luna has his first home run as a Chief. And it went a long way, and look at the smile from number 95. I have a feeling he's going to be wearing that hat in the years to come on a pretty regular basis. I think this youngster has a lot going for him. I really do. With more experience and this type of competition, I feel like the sky's the limit. So a 2-run home run, his first as a Hill United Chief. And it is 7-3. So the long ball has been the order of the day for Hill United. 2 home runs off the bat of Ezekiel. Now Khalil Luna has hit a ball that left the yard. Pipolo Lopez. Lots of home run power and strokes this foul. He has kind of a long, loping type swing. But when he makes contact, lots of pop. It's good to see him back. He, in a Saturday night game a couple of weekends ago in Kitchener, he was hit by a pitch in a very difficult area by Carlos Parra. Required some time at the hospital. And good news is he is just fine. So David Watson. And as a young pitcher, you can only get better facing this type of competition. And Lopez able to stay off a low drop that was outside the zone. And now, catcher Luciano Biondi. Biondi has walked and struck out in the game. It's been a year where his hits have really mattered. He has 12 hits and 13 runs batted in. So you can't be a lot more efficient with your hits than he has been. And his hit in Tavistock was a 2-run home run yesterday against the Oswegan Redmen, as he continues that trend of efficient productivity. Watson with a low rise that misses away. So Hill United at one point trailing by a pair, now in front by 4. In a game they have to win to play tomorrow. And wonder if we might see a change. We will. We'll take a quick break. The Hill United Chiefs in front in their 4th and final game of the round robin in Travistock. They lead Nova Scotia's East Hants Mastodons by 4 on Softball Premier TV. New pitcher, and he is very familiar to the Hill United Chiefs. He used to play for them. He was part of the championship winning team in 2025. The now 33-year-old from Argentina was 6-2 as a member of the Chiefs in 2025. Added for this weekend. My understanding is he may very well suit up for Team 518 at the ISC World Tournament at the new Diamond Complex at Bear Creek, just outside of Melbourne, Ontario. Nice new facility, and it has a lot of promise. Nick White off the end of the bat versus his old teammate, and it didn't take Martin Gonzalez long to record the second out of the inning. A 2-run home run by the youngster, Khalil Luna, his first as a Hill United Chief. Has them in front 7-3. Tyler Williams has moved from behind home plate over to third. I believe that might be number 27, Cameron Patton, who is now behind home plate for the Mastodons. Shane Boland would love nothing better than a base knock here. Potentially drive in another run and put the Mastodons in a really difficult spot with 2 at-bats left. Boland, Singer on the run. So Gonzalez facing his old team with 2 relatively quick outs. Khalil Luna, home run, has Hill United in front 7-3 on Softball Premier TV. Tyler Randerson manicuring his landing spot. Been very effective coming into the game in place of the starter, Justin Schofield. And facing first baseman Brody Fraser. 0 for 1 in the game. He scored a run. Randerson, 2 shutout innings so far. And that's the 24th pitch that he's thrown. 16 of them have been for strikes. On the ground, a good hop for Lenny Villavazzo. And Brody Fraser retired. As Randerson has faced 7 and sent all 7 back towards the dugout. Braden Woodworth, designated player, and Randerson starts him with a strike. On the ground, but pulled foul. The Mastodons and I believe their 4th and final game of the round robin. We'll have to double check that as Woodworth goes down swinging, and Randerson has his 4th strikeout in 2 2/3. Now the Mastodons in their 3rd game of the day had a 9 o'clock game against Oswegan, then fell to the Bear Creek Gremlins, and every team in the 10-team field, 2 pools of 5, plays 1 doubleheader, and this is the doubleheader, and the Mastodons in need of a win to keep their hopes alive. They are 0-2-1. They started the day with a 0-0 draw versus the Oswegan Redmen. And they did lead this game twice by a pair of runs until Bradley Ezekiel went to work and hit 2 home runs and even delivered a run with his first at-bat. Second baseman Cam Weatherby delivered the first 2 runs of the game. A single up the middle to give the Mastodons an early 2-0 advantage. Three balls and a strike to the East Hants second baseman, Cameron Weatherby. The rise ball swung on and missed. Randerson has dealt with some injury. He missed one event after tweaking an upper body in an earlier tournament. Went to the changeup on the 3-2 pitch, and Weatherby stayed with it. Playoffs start tomorrow. A couple of quarterfinals here and at Optimus Park at 9. the semifinals, slated for those same two parks at 11. And Randerson, 9 up, 9 down as he sits down. Cameron Weatherby with his 5th strikeout in 3 innings. It's 7-3 Hill United here in Tavistock. Well, the man of the hour, certainly the man of the game, Bradley Ezekiel. What a contest he has enjoyed. 3 for 3, 2 home runs, and 4 runs batted in. And now facing his former teammate, Martin Gonzalez, and everything is jumping off that bat right now. If Hill United goes on to win the game, believe they would finish in 3rd place and play the 2nd place finisher in a quarterfinal right here at this park tomorrow at 9. We'll have it for you on Softball Premier TV. Gonzalez took something off. When Martinez at his best, not overpowering, but can really do a good job with changing speeds and location. He comes somewhat over the top. That's the only way I can describe it. Needless to say, it's an underhand motion, but the finish is kind of whirling around at the top of the release, which will generally make the ball move away from a right-handed hitter. As does Ezekiel have a 4th hit in this game. Ball and 2 strikes. And not this time. As Gonzalez climbed the ladder to get Brad Ezekiel for out number 1. Came in to replace the starter, David Watson. And while we have an opportunity, the final line on Watson, 4 1/3, gave up 7 runs on 8 hits. Struck out 3 and walked 5 through 105 pitches. Lenny Villavazzo, the batter. And he'd love nothing more than a hit going into a playoff round. Hill United 3 outs away from finishing the round robin at 2-2. Williams And there are 2 away. So still to come as far as the round robin is concerned. Here at Queen's Park next, it's the Northeast Drillers. And Quentin Bruce past the diving Weatherby, who couldn't quite get to that one. He's made a couple of dandies over there at second base, but Quentin Bruce, a strong weekend continues. That's his 3rd hit of the game. The Bear Creek Gremlins will round out the round robin over at Optimist at 5 against the Oswegan Redmen. They've already guaranteed themselves of first place in Division A, or Pool A, if you will. And then the final 2 games have the Toronto Batmen against the Chippewa Chiefs here and JDT First Energy versus the Oswegan Redmen. Tony Gonzalez. Tony has a couple of hits in the game. Gonzalez versus Gonzalez. Martin facing Tony. Wind still blowing, clouds moving like crazy, but right now I see a little blue. When this game started, it wasn't blue. It was another color that started with BL, but it was not blue. It looked pretty ominous, but so far so good. And we hope it continues throughout tomorrow's championship final, which is slated for 2 o'clock right here at Queen's Park. Gonzalez shakes off a sign, and then a changeup. Three balls and a strike to the Hill United first baseman. Another multi-hit game today for Tony. Rowan Sears on the run. Marty Gonzalez comes in and does a nice job against his former teammates. Now, Nova Scotia's East Hants Mastodons need a big rally if they're to keep their hopes alive here in Travistock. So the Hill United Chiefs, 3 outs away from a second straight, well, not a second straight, but a second win, as they fell earlier today, 1-0 in a pitcher's duel between Marco Diaz and Pami Madzalukwa, who's really thrown well this year for JDT First Energy. And because Hill United has fallen to the Gremlins and JDT, I believe the best they can wind up in the round robin would be third. Now, JDT still plays a game against Oswegan, but they have 2 wins already, and if you end up in a tie, that would be the tiebreaker to determine second and third, as Rowan Sears swings and misses. Rowan 7 for 30 back home in league play. And Tyler Randerson has been in a zone since he entered the game. Faced 10, sat down 10. And up to 6 strikeouts now as well. So a pinch hitter for catcher Cameron Patton. And it'll be Ty Campbell from Enfield, Nova Scotia. Ty's having a nice year in the Shooters Fast Pitch League in Nova Scotia. He's 9 for 27 with a double and 5 runs batted in. And first pitch swinging against Randerson. Who's looking to end the game with another 1-2-3 inning. But the minute you mention it, it's almost like the announcer's curse. There it goes. So first hit that Randerson has given up. He had retired 10 straight. As Campbell comes off the bench and delivers the liner in to left center. And now it's third baseman Tyler Williams. Tyler has a single in the game. And Randerson just showed you that he thought it was in a different spot. Tyler comes right back with a rise ball. It's had really good movement on it. Two balls and a strike to Tyler Williams. Started the game as the catcher and then moved to third after a pitching change. And Randerson has good velocity today. At the top, he's usually right in that 77, 78, 79 range. And he's feeling it today. Lots of zip. And with 2 out here is Václav Bure. They call him Vinny. Change up. There's Tyler Anderson, who's playing a home game. He lives not very far away from this very facility. Dialed in. And now 1 strike away from ending it. The 0-2 on its way. Bure able to stay off of it. Just missed outside. And the count runs even at 2-2. Hill United trailed this game 2-0 and 3-1. But Brad Ezekiel, a couple of home runs and a single to drive in another, and Khalil Luna in some ways maybe with a knockout punch, a 2-run homer of his own. The throw back by Biondi, and it almost ended the game. Campbell had to really scramble back. And an illustration of the type of arm that Luciano Biondi provides. Strong throw, and if that ball is right at the bag towards the inside of it, it's probably game, set, and match. And here's the payoff on the way. And it's fouled. His head coach, Chris Hopewell, hands the ball back in. Special thank you. I'm really impressed with the work that they do in the Shooters Fast Pitch League, the statistics. It's impressive. And those things make a big difference. That'll do it. Tyler Anderson with 4 excellent innings in the game. Strikes out 8. Gives up just the 1 hit. And the Hill United Chiefs have almost certainly earned a berth to play on Sunday. They wind up the round robin with a 2-2 record, which should leave them 3rd in Pool A, Division A, and a date with the 2nd place finisher in Pool B. We will have all of that action for you right here from Queen's Park starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. For our crew, my name is Peter Loubardias. So long for now from Travistock, Ontario.